sorry, but I did not pay $70 for this cup not to get the straw. So anyway, while I was on the phone with customer service, I figured I'd use the tissue paper for some crafts. So first I tried to iron some of the wrinkles out. You just put your iron on the lowest setting and make sure there's no water in it. I just used my mini easy press because I did not feel like dumping the water out of my iron. Obviously do this at your own risk, but you just put some printer paper on top. The wrinkles are still definitely there, like it was not perfect, but it helped. I got this wooden tissue box cover from Hobby Lobby, painted it white, then measured a piece of tissue paper to wrap it with. I stuck that on with some matte Mod Podge. You'll want to use the matte instead of the gloss for this so that nothing accidentally sticks to your project when it's done. I tried to do a thin layer, smooth out any wrinkles. These freaking people at Stanley, they really were trying to get me to ship this whole cup back to them, and I was kind of like, bro, I just wanted the straw that was supposed to be in here in the first place. I really am not trying to drive 30 minutes to the UPS store when you might not even send me a new one, because I have had that happen before, like shout out to Hollister. So I called them again the next day and talked to another person, and he said they'd just send me the straw. I didn't need to send the cup back, and I was like, great. Awesome, kind of makes more sense to me. So anyways, I got another package today and they actually just sent me like a whole new one. So that was definitely a nice surprise. I was not expecting that. Now I have a ton of this tissue paper, so let me know what other crafts I should make with this. By the way, you can seal this with more Mod Podge, but I think I might actually use matte finishing spray. But since I have a few more projects I want to do, I'll probably just spray them all together. I've been making some crafts with the tissue paper that came with my Love Shack Fancy Stanley, because unlike some of y'all, I have good taste. Yesterday I made a tissue box, and today I used them to decorate this wooden crate. Let me tell you, this would have been so much easier with spray paint. I flattened out the tissue paper using an iron on the lowest setting. If you do this, just make sure your iron doesn't have water in it. I decided I wanted the roses to be vertical on the side with the slats, so I lined it up how I wanted it, and taped down the one side before adding Mod Podge so everything would be lined up. I turned the pattern horizontal on the sides with the handles. I didn't tape those, obviously, because I didn't want to rip the tissue paper that was already on there. And you know, this really should not have been that difficult, but like it took so long. I decided the inside should be pink, so I painted that again, and I just kind of ripped the extra tissue paper out of the handle part. And on the long sides, I cut it down the middle and folded the edges in. Which, pro tip, you can use the end of a pencil or something to help smooth that part out. I touched up the paint anywhere that needed it, and sealed everything with more Mod Podge. Let me know in the comments, what should I use this for? I originally got this to make a bikini box, but at this point, it's literally fall. I still have some tissue paper left, so let me know what else I should make. Of course, I had to make an Altoids wallet to match my Stanley. I already used this Love Shack Fancy tissue paper to decorate a wood crate and a tissue box. I took one of the squares that was left over from wrapping the tissue box and kind of smushed it on top of the tin to get the outline. You could also trace it, but this way there's no pencil marks. I just cut that out and stuck it to my tin with some matte Mod Podge. Okay, I didn't exactly line it up perfectly, but we're just gonna pretend that's intentional. I sealed the top with some more Mod Podge. Definitely use the matte so it doesn't stick to anything. For the edges, I made a little bow with some 1/8 inch ribbon, measured another piece of ribbon around my tin, folded it in half, then sewed the bow onto the middle. I used some more Mod Podge to stick the ribbon on. I don't have time to do the inside today, but let me know if you have any ideas. Here are some of the ones I made last year. I have a whole series on these. I still think Altoids are gross. Don't at me, I said what I said, but I feel like this is such a fun little project, especially for back to school. It's giving the same energy as when I used to wrap all my books with Vera Bradley wrapping paper. Like, I got the wrapping paper to match my backpack. It was a vibe. Man, I used to really have my life together. I don't know what happened. Let's decorate the inside of this Altoids wallet. I didn't think the tissue paper stood out enough, so I stuck some to a sheet of printer paper before cutting a piece to fit inside the lid. I'll tell you what, these templates that I made last year have served me very well. Of course, I stuck that inside the lid with Mod Podge. I always want to say Mod Podge, and honestly I might, because if you didn't know, that's like a trick that all the big influencers do. Like, they'll pronounce or spell something wrong so that people comment about it, and personally, most of my mistakes, they come from me genuinely being dumb, which, you know, do with that what you will. Is anyone else obsessed with those mini makeup kit videos? Of course we need a mirror, so I used some resin to stick flat back pearls and some ribbon roses onto mine. You can just glue the mirror in, but I like adding magnets to the back. I wanted to use light pink felt for the bottom, but I didn't really have that much left, so I kind of put two pieces together, but the seam was just really bothering me, so I found some ribbon and some lace that kind of matched, and I stuck that in there with some fabric glue to cover it up. I wanted to use felt so that the stuff inside won't jingle around as much. I bought a whole bunch of those mini makeup containers, and I'm sorry to do this, but we'll fill those up in part 2. I asked you guys what else I should make with the Love Shack Fancy tissue paper, and a bunch of people suggested jewelry/hair accessories. So of course I had to make a claw clip. The pattern on the tissue paper was kind of big to put directly on the clip, but I had some wood hearts left over from a project that I made in like 2017, which that did not really age very well, but I took 2 of my wood hearts and painted them pink. Make sure you don't forget the edges. And I kind of smushed the tissue paper on top so I could get an outline without having to worry about pencil marks. I added some matte Mod Podge to the top, then lined it up with the tissue paper. I cut off the excess excess and repeated the same process for the second heart. I thought this lace kind of fit the vibe, so I wrapped some around the clip like this, securing it with a little hot glue. Then I stuck the hearts onto the clip with some UV resin. You'd probably be fine just using hot glue, but I like to use resin because it doesn't dry as fast, and I did this for a similar claw clip a couple months ago. I just did not remember why, so I was just like, alright, we'll do it again. I actually made a whole claw clip series earlier this year. I feel like this print might be cute on the wood bows. Maybe we'll try that. But I just did the same thing on the other side, and here's how the finished clip turned out. Okay, but I feel like $70 was really not that unreasonable for this cup, especially since it came with such cute packaging. So let's make some coasters to match my Stanley. I got this set of blank ones from Amazon. As always, you know where to find the link. I sanded them down, and I was almost out of paint, so I only made 2. Why do these low-key look like crumble cookies? Honestly, I've never had them. Like, are they any good? Although I heard they're like 1,000 calories though, so I mean, they probably are. I kind of smushed some tissue paper on top of the coaster to create an outline so that I'd know where to line it up. Added some Mod Podge on top, then stuck it down. I cut off the excess and repeated the same process for the second one. Actually, if you have an X-Acto knife, that was way easier than the scissors. But I just added some more Mod Podge on top, and I was thinking about the best way to make these waterproof. So what I ended up doing was I covered the top and the sides of the coaster with 3 layers of Mod Podge, which, a life hack if you don't want to wait for it to dry, a hairdryer is going to be your best friend. But I read somewhere that if you do 3 layers of Mod Podge and then spray them with this matte finishing spray, that should make them waterproof. I wanted to get this video up, so I didn't spray them yet, but I'll update you guys tomorrow and let you know if it worked. People are still trying to tell me I got ripped off, but do you see how much people resell these for? $70 is not that bad. I just made these coasters to match my Stanley, and they are waterproof, can confirm. If you remember, after I glued on the tissue paper, I covered these with 3 layers of matte Mod Podge and added a coat of Krylon matte finishing spray on top. A couple people suggested the outdoor Mod Podge, which that would definitely work too. I was actually gonna get some, but I realized that takes 4 weeks to fully cure, and I do not have that kind of time. I don't know where I got these crates, but I used to use them as a shelf for my American Girl dolls. Thank God I only used hot glue, because it was easy enough to pull them apart. I painted one pink. Okay, quick, who is your favorite American Girl doll? Comment down below. I feel like mine's probably obvious, but I'll let you guys guess. The pattern didn't line up with this crate as well as it did on the big one, but that's okay, I have a solution. After the Mod Podge was completely dry, I used a 320 grit sanding block to lightly sand down the tissue paper. This will kind of blend your design in with the wood and give it more of a distressed look. Perfect for distracting from how crooked I put that on. You know what? It's fine. Happy accidents. Since the crate's open at the bottom, I used some scrap paper to make a template to fit in there. I didn't have any light pink felt left, but we made it work. I stuck that in the bottom with a little hot glue so the coasters wouldn't fall through. And here's how the finished set turned out. Let's make some accessories for my Stanley. I got these little tea set charms from Hobby Lobby a while back, and I thought this would be so cute for one of those little charms on the handle. This is seriously the easiest thing ever. I just measured some chain around the handle and added a lobster clasp to one end. You could actually get one of those necklace extender chains that already have the clasp on it, but I just used what I already had. Then I just attached my charm to the other end of the chain with a jump ring. I get questions about this little ring tool all the time, and I'm pretty sure they're just called jump ring openers. I'll try to find some to link. I mean, 10 out of 10, very useful. And that was basically it. I'm sure people will tell me how stupid this is in the comments, and like honestly, I thought so too at first, but if you have 2 of the same Stanleys, this is a really good way to tell them apart, which I'm sorry to disappoint, but my sister said that she really liked this, so she's getting the extra one for Christmas. I feel like resellers kind of ruin it for everyone, and I would just feel bad selling it. I know I said this was easy, but honestly, it was low-key a pain because when I first added the charm, it was facing the wrong direction, so I added a second jump ring, but then it was too long, so I had to go back and remove a couple of the chain links. It was a whole mess, but I think it turned out pretty cute in the end. Let's decorate my room to match my Stanley. First, I took this Dollar Tree pizza pan and used some isopropyl alcohol to clean off any residue from the label. Then I spray painted it white. Once that dried, I covered the middle circle part with some matte Mod Podge. Don't worry about the edges right now, just focus on that middle section. This way you can line up your tissue paper on top and make sure the lines are straight before sticking anything down. Now you're going to press down that middle section and smooth it out very carefully. Definitely take your time with this so the tissue paper doesn't rip. Mine did kind of rip a little bit, but I was able to push it back together, and I don't think you can tell. Let me know. I added some more Mod Podge to the sides of the pan to stick down the remaining tissue paper. I cut off some of the excess, then folded the rest of the tissue paper to the back, sticking it down with some more Mod Podge. And after that dried, I did yet another layer of Mod Podge on top to seal everything. I mean, are we surprised? No. But there are a couple ways that you can use this. Option 1, you can use it as a tray on your dresser or vanity or whatever. Or option 2, use it as a magnet board. Someone suggested magnets on one of my other videos, but I thought that this would be even better. I have a couple ideas for the actual magnets. I'm sorry to do this, but I'll show you those in part 2. I had a few charms left over from decorating my Stanley, and I thought the little plates would make perfect magnets. If you saw my last video, I used some of the Love Shack Fancy tissue paper that came with it to make this magnet board out of a Dollar Tree pizza pan. These are perfect because not only can they be used as magnets, but they're also the perfect size to hang necklaces on. I got that idea after setting up this shot, which, by the way, you can also use this as a cute little tray for your vanity. This necklace was also a DIY. I stuck a magnet to one of the leftover bows from that video with some resin as well. I also made a couple magnets with these adorable stickers that I found on Amazon. As always, you know where to find the link. I seriously can't get over how cute these are. I actually reused a magnet from one of those notepads that you stick onto the fridge. I probably should have just bought some magnets because getting that cardboard off the back took forever, but I just stuck a few stickers on there, cut them out, bam, you got some magnets. This is seriously my new favorite thing. If you want to hang it, you can just put some heavy-duty command strips on the back. Or I also think it would be cute if you glued some ribbon on the back, maybe tie a bow at the top so it can hang on a hook. I don't know how, but I still have so much of this tissue paper left, so let me know what else I should make.